Hey everyone, it's David here, and today we're diving into something that's super common but not often talked about enough: social anxiety. I know it sounds intense, but bear with me. We'll make it approachable and maybe even have a laugh or two along the way. So what's social anxiety all about? Imagine being terrified of everyday social interactions or situations where you might embarrass yourself. That's the gist of it. I remember this psychology exam question vividly. Adriana is so scared of crowds that her fear has grown to the point where she avoids school entirely to avoid talking or participating in activities with others. What disorder might Adriana have? Spoiler alert, Adriana is dealing with social anxiety disorder. It's a prime example because her fear leads her to take extreme measures to avoid social contact, like skipping school altogether. Social anxiety disorder is marked by a persistent fear of social situations and interactions. It's not just shyness, it's a full-blown fear that kicks in during everyday interactions, making people avoid those situations like the plague. When someone with social anxiety has to interact with others, they can become panicked, with symptoms that can look like a heart attack, shortness of breath, racing heart, and feeling like they can't breathe. Teenagers and adults might realise their fear is over the top, but kids often don't. They just know they're terrified and avoid social activities whenever possible. To be diagnosed with social anxiety disorder, someone has to show persistent avoidance, fear, or anxiety in social situations for at least 6 months if they're under 18. This fear and avoidance shouldn't be due to drug use or other health conditions, and it's important not to confuse social anxiety disorder with other psychological disorders. People with social anxiety often dread two main types of situations: performing in front of strangers, like giving a presentation, and personal interactions like parties or dating. The fear of being embarrassed is a big driver here. They're hyper-aware of situations that could make them look foolish or awkward and are constantly worried about how others perceive them. They might worry that others will think they're stupid, crazy, or weak. Public speaking can be particularly nerve-wracking because they fear others will notice their shaky voice or sweaty hands. This anxiety can be so intense that they avoid eating, drinking, or writing in public to avoid being seen with trembling hands. If you've ever been in class, unprepared for a presentation, and felt your heart racing, palms sweating, and legs shaking while waiting for your name to be called, you might wonder if you have social anxiety disorder. But fear not. Your reactions are pretty normal and can be avoided with better preparation. Your fear has a clear cause: being unprepared, whereas those with social anxiety disorder fear without needing a specific reason. They just really care about how others view them and would rather blend into the background than be the centre of attention. Not every fear of social interaction is social anxiety disorder. The fear has to seriously impact daily life, like work or school, as it did for Adriana. Or someone has to be extremely worried about their avoidance behaviour and its impact. For instance, someone who fears public speaking doesn't have social anxiety disorder if it doesn't affect their daily life or job, and they're not overly concerned about it. Fear of embarrassment is normal, but for social anxiety disorder, it's off the charts. It's normal for children and teens to be shy or afraid of social situations temporarily. For those under 18, symptoms must last at least 6 months to be diagnosed with social anxiety disorder. People with social anxiety disorder often avoid social situations like starting or maintaining conversations, participating in groups, dating, talking to authority figures, or attending parties. They often fear public speaking and social interactions simultaneously. It's useful for doctors to review their social activity history, since they might not exhibit all symptoms in every situation. The prevalence of social anxiety disorder varies across cultures. In places like Japan and Korea, people might fear offending others rather than being embarrassed as a primary symptom of social anxiety. This can include worries about blushing, eye contact, or body odour offending others. Social anxiety disorder can run in families and might come and go throughout life. For example, someone might overcome their fear of dating as they settle into a new relationship, but the anxiety could resurface after a significant loss like a spouse's death. A new job requiring public speaking might temporarily lessen social anxiety for someone who's never had to be in the spotlight before. Treating social anxiety disorder often involves behavioural therapy, which focuses on changing behaviour. Initially, patients might be exposed to situations they usually avoid, helping them gradually reduce their anxiety through repeated exposure. One popular method is systematic desensitisation, where patients face their fears step by step, learning to relax in those situations. The goal is to pair fear with relaxation. People with social anxiety disorder might also develop depression and could benefit from antidepressants to ease related symptoms. Another approach is cognitive behavioural therapy, CBT, which combines behavioural and cognitive techniques. CBT helps patients change their thinking patterns to alter their behaviour. If you find yourself anxious in social situations where you don't know anyone or feel unsafe, remember it's normal to feel a bit anxious about new social experiences like meeting new college friends, job interviews, or speaking in class. Most people get a bit nervous and might sweat or blush when they're the centre of attention, but these feelings usually pass. The key is to keep exposing yourself to these situations. Go to parties, chat with your professor, join online dating sites, or volunteer. When you feel social anxiety creeping in, focus on what's happening around you and engage. Don't run away or avoid it. Give yourself the chance to meet someone new, start a conversation, and challenge your inner negative voice. Social anxiety builds when you dwell on your feelings. I'm shaking, everyone can see I'm sweating. And put yourself down. I can't handle this, I don't know what to say. These people will think I'm a loser. This can lead you to hide in the bathroom or leave early before you've had a chance to join in. Think logically. If you're at an interview, it means your achievements impress someone. If you need to talk to a professor, remember, they're there to help you learn. At a party or new meeting, it's normal to feel anxious, but it's also a sign of excitement. Ride that wave of initial nerves and relax. See what happens when you smile, look around, make eye contact and say, hello. So next time you feel social anxiety creeping in, remember, it's all part of the journey. Embrace it, challenge it, and keep pushing your boundaries. You've got this. Catch you next time.